Good afternoon, everyone. Chef Carla, Chef Rich, and I welcome you to week 1 in CU 122. We are awfully excited to have all of you on board, and we are really looking forward to this class. My name is Chef Warren Weeks, and I'll be working with a portion of you, and Chef Carla Lomelli will be working with the other portion of all of you, and Chef Rich will be your evaluator. So the three of us are here to tackle this. And Chef Carla, would you like to say hello?
Yeah, of course. Hi, everybody. So I'm Chef Carla Lomelli, and I do have the biggest portion of you guys. So I'm really looking forward to this next 11 weeks teaching you guys and working with you guys. I've been working for this school for about 1.5 years, but teaching in general, I've been working for almost 13 years, teaching culinary, baking, and pastry. And so I really enjoyed, this is sort of like the icing on the cake for me. I get to teach, which I enjoy, and I get to teach a great, content that I really feel very proud and excited to do every time, So I'm looking forward to working with everyone. I want to say that please feel free to and comfortable to always reach out when you guys need and when you have any questions. We are super approachable. We love to work with our students. And our main focus, obviously, is your success. We want you guys to, first goal is to finish this class, and then, of course, finish the program. So we want to see you guys succeed. So please don't hesitate to get in touch with us at any time, and looking forward to working with everyone. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, and I have to write on Chef Carla's coattail there. I think she brought up some really valuable stuff that we're all here, and our number one focus is your success. And so our doors are always open. Our phone numbers are on the right-hand side of the class page. Phone numbers and email addresses, and the easiest way to get a hold of us is to shoot us a text. We'll get back to you generally right away, or message us through the school system, or shoot us an email. We are here to help you succeed. So take advantage of us as a resource. Chef Rich, would you like to say hello and introduce yourself to everybody?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. How are you? So before tonight, the last time I was in culinary school was 20 years ago. So this is my first class, just so everybody knows. So I'm learning along with you guys right now. But I went to culinary school about 20 years ago, New England Culinary Institute in Vermont. And from there, I kind of traveled up and down the East Coast and from the Florida Keys back up north, and ended up the last 10 years of my career opening up a couple restaurants and did that. And now I have a family and children. And so kind of transitioning in my career to kind of hopefully passing the torch, and 20 years of experience kind of back into the mix, and hopefully getting all you guys set up for success for your careers too. So I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you, Chef Rich. We're awfully excited to have you in this class. And just a brief 2-second background about myself. I got into the kitchen in 1982. Since then, I've worked all over the world as an executive chef, director of food and beverage, and own multiple restaurants. If you're thinking about doing it, I've probably done it. So I'd love to be able to help you out and provide you with a little bit of direction. A couple of years ago, I had the opportunity to redo Conrad Hilton's first hotel, which was a great experience as a director of food and beverage. We tore it down and rebuilt it. And at the end of the project, my wife said, "It's time for you to come home and get to know your family." So I decided that I would spend the remainder of my time giving back everything that I've learned along the road, and to share with all of you the experiences that I've picked up. So ladies and gents, you have a very, very well qualified team here. Chef Carla, Chef Rich, and myself, once again, are all here for your support. Chef Carla and I, oh, yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Really quick, Chef, one more introduction. We have one more person that's joining us today, and this is Sydney Wilson. She's actually our tutor. So she's going to introduce herself, and I know she can't stay too long.
Awesome.
Just to say hello to everybody. Hi, Sydney.
Hi, Chef Carla. Hi, Chef Warren. Hi, Chef Rich. It's nice to see everybody. My name is Sydney Wilson, and I am a tutor here at Escoffier. And I see several faces and several names that I do know. So for those of you who have not met me, I am a previous student. I did graduate this exact same course that you're going through just last November. And I am here to help out wherever I can, regardless of what class, what assignment, what you have going on, whether it be with Google Drive or your narrative or just submitting, whatever the case may be. My information will be up on the class page with a link to my calendar as well as my email and phone number. I will drop those in the chat as well, just to kind of cover the bases. We are still kind of getting all the links put up and the ball rolling for this new block, so bear with us. And I just kind of wanted to reach out and kind of put my face out there so everybody knows who I am and that I'm an extra resource. So if you have any questions, email me, text me, and if I don't know the answer, I guarantee I know somebody who does. So don't be shy, and definitely, you know, let us know how we can help. All right, that's it. Thanks, though.
Thank you, Sydney, very, very much. Yeah, great resource, by the way, to take advantage of any type of tutoring that you need. If you find that you're struggling a little bit, definitely reach out and take advantage of that. As well, Chef Carla, Chef Rich, and myself are also here to help you out. So that's 4 people here that are dedicated to your success, so take advantage. So Chef Carla and I are going to be switching weeks in this class this week. I was chosen to start. So I'm starting this week, and then next week, Chef Carla will be hosting the class. So it will be every other week. We just don't want to confuse anybody as to what's going on. Tonight, we're going to spend the next couple of minutes talking about some expectations, go over a couple of classroom rules, and then we are going to dive into week 1 and get everybody on their way. So we're going to start off tonight just by sharing a little bit of information. Your assignments are going to be graded by Chef Rich. Chef Rich will be grading the assignments based on the information shared in the live session, shared on the class page, and primarily the rubric. The rubric is when you click on the assignment down at the bottom of the class page, and it tells you exactly which photos to put in and which information needs to be included with your assignment and your narrative. So that's how Chef Rich will be grading all the assignments each week. We value professionalism in everything we do. It's extremely important as you head into industry. Every step up that you can get on competition is worth it, and professionalism is at the top of the list. Professionalism means attending all your live sessions, submitting your assignments on time, and following directions. And so those are some of the things that we expect. And then please remember, it is your responsibility to be posting attendance at least every 4 days. The reason that we ask you to do that is to keep you close to the program. The closer you are, the better your chances of success are, and that is our #1 goal. And then most importantly, we understand that everybody has a lot going on in life. We're all very, very busy, but I believe all of you are dedicated to your future and pursuing your dreams to become chefs. So we want to help you with your time management and help you to prioritize your time. It'll make going through school a lot easier along the way. If anybody has any questions during the live session, we ask that you raise your hand. I believe that's at the bottom of the screen on your Zoom section, Zoom screen, and that will help you out quite a bit. Does anybody have any questions so far? Anyone?
Jeff, there was a really great question there that it says, how do I post attendance? And attendance, that's a great question, because everybody, when we send you guys emails or messages, hey, you got to post attendance, you need to know the different ways that we do it. Right now, you're actually posting attendance because you guys are joining us live in one of the live sessions, of course. If you cannot join us live, you can watch the archive. That's another way of posting attendance, by submitting the quizzes for each week. So you guys have 2 quizzes, right? Either of them is going to help you post attendance, and also by submitting assignments, that will help you as well. So there's a lot of different ways you guys can do it. I definitely suggest that you guys spread out your work throughout the week, of course. That's more chances of you guys posting attendance and less chances of us, from you guys hearing from us, that we're going to be telling you. Our attendance policy is very, very strict. It only allows students to be absent for about 14 days consecutive. We're talking about Saturdays and Sundays and holidays. So if you do end up reaching day 15, students get automatically withdrawn from the program. So we do take that very serious, and we want to make sure that you guys are not withdrawn from the program. So those are the different ways to do it. So I think that was a great question.
Fantastic question. Absolutely. So each week there's 4 activities that you can do to post attendance. And those include completing one of the knowledge checks, watching the live session or the live session archive, or submitting your weekly assignment. Those will post attendance for you. Every time that Chef Carla and I have to step out and make phone calls and email people to make sure that you're okay and still with us, it slows us down from taking care of the students that really need the help. So we appreciate everybody following through with that and watching that. Sarah, what's going on?
Thank you. Pleasure to meet you all, chefs. I just wanted to sort of continue in that vein, just to touch. I received the email today, sort of letting us know what's expected again. I generally, Tuesday evening and Wednesday morning is generally the time that I have available to do my assignments. So I generally work a week ahead. And I did note that the email asked us not to submit anything until after having attended the live session. So I'm just sort of curious how you kind of want me to work with that, just because it would sort of appear that I'm a week ahead, but I'm not really, just because if I waited until that time to do my assignment, it would be either late, or if something went wrong and they needed to redo, I would have no window.
Who's your chef instructor? Is it Chef Carla or myself?
I may Chef Lomely, Chef Carla.
Okay, Chef Carla. I would recommend
sir.
that you shoot Chef Carla a message after the class, and I'm sure Chef Carla is going to do everything she can to work with you and help accommodate. So that would be my recommendation. We understand that people have schedules and busy lives and all that kind of stuff, and we're not here to put anybody in any kind of bind. And communication will generally resolve the issue 99.9% of the time. So great question. Thanks, Sarah. Benjamin, what's your question?
Yeah, mine was kind of like Sarah's. Mine, like, okay, I work at Red Lobster, so I work kind of like doubles sometimes, and then they have me flip-flopping. So it's kind of, I mean, my whole week's packed, but I kind of do, like, I'll do my assignment in one big scoop and then do the archives. Here
in just a few moments, we're going to share with you a weekly prep list. And it might help you organize your time just a little bit. So what we try to do is get everybody to break it down into smaller portions, a couple of minutes each day. And that'll help you post attendance and keep it going. If that still doesn't work, just reach out to your chef instructor. Let us know what's going on. We're here to help you and work with you. Sound good? Thanks, Benjamin. Travis, what's up?
Yeah. How do you know which one of you guys are our instructors?
You should be able to tell at the top of your class page or on the right-hand side of the class page. You'll see your chef instructor, either Chef Carla Lomeli or Chef Warren Weeks, and then you'll also see Chef Rich Harvey's name on there as well.
Okay. Let me go check that real quick while I'm waiting. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, if there are any problems with your schedule, posting attendance on a regular basis, just reach out to your chef instructor and we'll gladly be willing to speak with you and help you resolve the issue. In your weekly presentation is the classroom participation policy. I'm not going to go through it line item by line item right now, but it will be posted onto your class page just to help you review it at a later point in time. All right, ladies and gents, let's move on to week one and let's get ourselves in the kitchen and start learning a little bit about food. This week, we've got a busy week. We have 2 knowledge checks. Remember, you can take those knowledge checks as many times as you like, and only the highest score is going to stick, right? Don't forget to take both knowledge checks. It's extremely important. The first knowledge check is based upon the research materials. The second knowledge check is a conversions knowledge check. I know it's going to seem a little bit redundant after the 12th or 11th week of doing this. However, I guarantee you, once you get into the kitchen, you're going to be doing a lot of conversions. So these will be very, very handy for you. Thank you, everybody, for attending our live session today. It's very, very important. Those that attend our live session on a regular basis are the ones that consistently succeed. And once again, if you cannot attend the live session, make sure that you watch the live session archive. Like Chef Carla mentioned just a moment ago, that's a fantastic way to post attendance. So, and it's filled with great information. In the kitchen this week, you're working on composed salad. And then we're also going to be making mayonnaise and a vinaigrette. So we are in Garmager this week. Any questions? Chef Carla, Chef Rich, anything to add to any of that?
No, you're saying everything right, Chef. I'd say we keep going.
I'm on a roll. All right. All right. Travis, what's going on?
Okay, sorry. You said mayonnaise. That brought up a question. I've never made homemade mayonnaise. So what's the chances of getting sick from the raw eggs? I know it's pretty rare, but I just wanted to get an actual.
We're going to get into detail about all that here in just a few moments.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll share, and we'll talk a little bit about some TTS foods and all that other kind of stuff, and the effects of acidity and food preservation. So that'll help out just a little bit. And if your question's not answered after I get done sharing the information, make sure you reach out, let us know. We'll make sure we do get it answered for you. Ladies and gents, to help you out, we always make ourselves a prep list. And I'm sure Chef Rich, Chef Carla, every time we get ourselves into the kitchen, the first thing we do every morning is we make ourselves a prep list. And that helps us organize our time and manage our time much better. We all work, we're all very busy. Time management is a critical skill. Once you become an executive chef in the industry, managing your time is of the utmost importance, because it's not only your time, but it's everybody else's time that works for you and the restaurant's time as well. So we always encourage everybody to really start off with a prep list. This is this week's prep list. You know, this Wednesday, you guys are nailing it because you're here at the live session. Great job. And then Thursday, sit down, review your research materials. Make sure you know them. Complete both knowledge checks on Thursday. Boom, you've posted attendance, you're done. On Friday, this is a critical step. Make sure you sit down, you read and understand the assignment before you begin. At that time, create yourself a prep list, a little timeline that you're going to be working on your assignment, and also purchase your mise en place. This way, before you've even started your assignment, you've got everything set, ready to roll, and it's all right in front of you. Saturday and Sunday this week, sit down, do your assignment, review against the rubric, and submit it. And then on Monday and Tuesday, chill out. And if you guys have to make any changes as suggested by Chef Rich, that's a great time to resubmit, and boom, you've got 100 on your assignment. And so you've all done it. I mentioned Friday to sit down, review, and read your assignment. Make sure you understand it. That is the time to reach out to your chef instructor, Chef Carla or myself. If you have any questions, hey, Chef, I don't understand how this is working. Friday's a great day to do that, because if you try to get a hold of us at 11 o'clock on Saturday night, it can be tough. So this is fantastic to plan your time out. Does anybody have any questions about our week 1? All right, ladies and gents, let's take a look at our weekly conversion chart. Here are all the answers to the quiz that you're going to be taking. Don't forget that you can take the conversions, both knowledge checks, as many times as you like, and only the highest score will stick. This presentation will be posted onto your class page immediately following the class, right below research materials. So if anyone needs to refer back to anything that we've talked about tonight and you just don't remember it, or you need to take a second look at it, it's right there ready to go for you. Benjamin, did you have a question?
Yeah, it was about the salad. The video shows like the red, purplish leaf greens. Now, can I just use like romaine?
Hang on, that's a fantastic question, and I'm glad you asked it, because we're gonna get to all that here in just a couple of minutes.
Okay.
We'll share that with the whole class. So keep
Okay.
that in mind, okay?
All right.
Thanks, Benjamin. All right, ladies and gents, let's talk vinaigrettes, right? Vinaigrettes are one of the most versatile things that we can work with in our industry. They're not only very valuable for salads, there are sauce applications, and then there are also marinating applications as well. A traditional vinaigrette is 3 parts fat or oil and 1 part acid or vinegar. And they are simply mixed together. with a blend of spices or herbs. This is what is considered to be an unemulsified dressing, right? So they will separate once it sits for a little bit. You need to be very careful when working with vinaigrettes or other dressings that are high in acidity, especially in industry. For those of you that will be working with buffets and that type of thing, you never want to pre-dress your salads because the acidity will break down the vegetable fiber and force everything to wilt. So traditionally we'll serve vinaigrettes on the side, especially in the resort industry. And a composed salad, ladies and gentlemen, is defined as a salad that has many ingredients in the salad, but are not tossed together. And they're traditionally laid out over the top in a very beautiful fashion, whether it be in rows or whatever the case may be. Some of the traditional salads would be a Cobb salad, a chef salad, or a salad niçoise. In this class, Chef Carla and I are excited to see everybody's ability when it comes to the presentation of foods. In 101, it's really technique focused. In this class, we really want to see you start developing your presentation skills. There's going to be 3 primary elements that Chef Rich, Carla, and myself are going to be looking for, and that is height, color, and texture in your presentations. Chef Carla, did you have a little advice in that area?
About salads? Well, you mentioned presentation, chefs, and one of the things that I want you guys to do is to put a lot of love into that presentation, because all the work that you guys are going to be doing, that you guys just finished doing in CU 101 and in this class and everything else that's coming, that eventually becomes your portfolio. You know, you guys can easily send via email, like a Google Doc, a folder to your future employer and say, this is what I know I can do. You know, so the more beautiful work you guys put together, put a lot of time into it, that means you guys have a beautiful portfolio at the end that you can share and feel proud with anyone. But yeah, this composed salad for this week, I know we're going to talk about, you know, ingredients and substitutions and things like that. You know, it's just placing the ingredients in a plate. I mean, you put some time into it. You know, where do you want the ingredients to go? Maybe you want based on color, composition, right? So it's all about the placing of the ingredients. That's all we're looking for. We want to make sure that your cuts are really, you know, consistent. Especially we have like a hard-boiled egg this week, making sure that every cut is the same, you know, so we want it to appeal to the eye. So when a customer sees it, it's something that is very attractive, and obviously people will want to order that, you know, so that's pretty much what we're looking for.
Great advice. I really appreciate the advice about building the portfolio, especially when you're just starting out in the industry. Your potential employers want to see what you're capable of. And by having these pictures and these things put together in your Google Drive, you're going to be able to share that. That'll give you a big head start on everybody else. Chef Carla also touched on a very important subject. In 101, you learned basic knife cuts, right? We all learned that a julienne is 1/8 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch by 2 to 3 inches. Now's the time to start putting that stuff to work. Chef Rich will be taking a look at your knife cuts each week when you're submitting your assignments, because consistency is a critical issue within our industry. Any questions, anybody? Ladies and gents, we're going to move on to the world of emulsifications, right? To put it simply, we just talked about vinaigrettes. Vinaigrettes, when you mix them together, they eventually separate. An emulsification is defined as a temporary suspension of 2 non-binding ingredients. And basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking the cholesterol and the lecithin that is found within the egg yolk, and you're going to be binding it with the oil in your dressing, so it creates one solid substance, and it will not separate at a later point. Travis brought up a very important point about food safety when it comes to working with the fresh mayonnaise. Of course, you're going to want to make sure that you're handling your eggs in a very safe fashion. Make sure that they're fresh. Make sure that they're not sitting out on the countertops for extended period of times. We work with what is called the TDZ, the temperature danger zone, which goes from 35 to 140. Anything in that temperature zone for more than 4 hours becomes a food safety hazard. bacteria doubles every 20 minutes between 90 and 100 degrees. So if you let those egg yolks sit out on your counter for an extended period of time, yes, you're going to run the potential of getting some type of foodborne illness. When you incorporate an acid such as lemon, that helps to preserve the food and kill any potential bacteria that's in there. So the chance and the risk that you're running of getting some type of foodborne illness is pretty minimalized when making homemade mayonnaise. Taking a look at our screen over here, dressings and sauces, culinary solutions to enhance flavors. You have to really remember that when it comes to mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is designed to enhance whatever you are preparing. It is a base. It is not there to dominate what you are making. So be careful when it comes to seasoning this. It is a condiment that is designed to enhance, not to define. Agitation makes the oil into very small droplets. Those small droplets, like I just mentioned, will bind with the cholesterol and the lecithin that is found in an egg yolk. So that is basically what you're doing. We're going to get into the recipe here in just a moment. Some examples of emulsifications include mayonnaise, hollandaise sauce, aiolis, which are the same basic principle of as a mayonnaise. So there's quite a few emulsions that work out. Emulsions traditionally do not hold up to heat very well. They will break down. This week's recipe, we do ask that you make it by hand. Some people have a tendency to like to use immersion blenders or other blenders, or KitchenAids or RoboCoops, like we like to call them. Those things create friction. That friction will force that product to break, and then you'll end up starting over once again. So we are going to take a quick look on the preparation of the mayonnaise here. One critical element. It's very, very important with this exercise to completely read and understand the assignment first, and then make sure you watch this video. We're going to watch it right now. We're going to stop and talk a little bit about it, and be patient, right? Do not start this assignment at 11:50 on Tuesday night with anticipation of having it done by 11:59, because it's not going to work out very well for you. So it's a thing of patience, love, and tolerance by all means.
Mayonnaise is made from vegetable oil, egg yolks, lemon juice, or vinegar and seasoning. It is created by an emulsion of liquid filled with droplets of another liquid. Mayonnaise is a permanent emulsion because the formula contains egg yolk. The egg yolks form a layer around each of the tiny droplets and holds them in suspension. First, place the yolks in a bowl that has been stabilized. Beat with a whisk until well beaten.
In the video, he has a bowl with a towel in it to help stabilize it. You can also take another kitchen towel, get it slightly wet, roll it up, and then make a circle on top of your cutting board, and then put your bowl into that, and that will help prevent it from spinning. That will help you out greatly.
Vegetable oil, egg yolks. The formula contains egg yolk. The egg yolks form a layer around each of the tiny droplets and holds them in suspension. First, place the yolks in a bowl that has been stabilized.
Chef, you need to share.
Whisk
I don't see that.
Oh, did I forget to share? I had a senior moment.
Add dry ingredients, the first quantity of vinegar and water. Beat the egg yolks until they are thoroughly mixed. The color should be consistent throughout the entire mixture. Next, add the oil slowly, drop by drop, while continuing to whisk.
All right. So that was the important part for all of you to watch. You notice he put all the ingredients into the bowl, then he whisked to combine everything. He also mentioned that everything should be the same color all the way throughout, which is extremely important. And then he began to whisk vigorously as he began to add droplets of oil. You're gonna stop after about the first tablespoon or 2 tablespoons and take a look at your mayonnaise. At this point, your mayonnaise should begin to get thick. You should start to see ribbons developing as you are whisking. It's very, very important. If your mayonnaise is becoming thinner at this point and there is oil on the surface or droplets of oil on the surface, that means that you did not create a stable emulsification. So there's a couple of things you can do. You can grab another bowl. I've seen a technique where we put an ice cube into that other bowl and stir your broken emulsion into the ice cube. That will help save it. And that's one of the big things. If not, we recommend for this week, since you are focusing on learning the technique, to start this over once again. Our big thing is learning the technique of creating the emulsion. The biggest thing you can remember to do is to whisk vigorously and droplets of oil to start with. If you add your oil too quickly or you stir too slowly, you will not create the emulsification. As well, make sure that your oil and your eggs are about the same temperature. If you have very cold eggs and very warm oil, then you're not going to be able to create your emulsification because it is temperature sensitive. We refer to this as tempering, right? A lot of times people think of tempering with warm things, but we also refer to it when we're working with room temperature things. So does anybody have any questions about creating that basic emulsion? Anyone? Chef Carla, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I do, Chef. I wanted to explain you guys, this emulsification to me is very science-based. You guys have 2 ingredients that usually don't like each other, right? It's liquid and fat. They don't like each other. They separate from one another. But then you guys have somebody in the middle who's going to help you bring them together. And that is called the emulsifier. And in this case, that ingredient, it's either the yolk or the mustard that you guys are adding in. So the emulsifier, the yolks and the mustard are going to pretty much hold the hands, right? I'm just kind of giving you guys that visual. They're going to be holding the hand of the oil, hold the hands of the liquid and bring them together so they don't separate from one another. And that creates an emulsion. And so but the only way to really, really get it, to be able to get the emulsifier to like bring them together, it's really to break down the emulsifier at the beginning, which is your yolk. You guys are adding mustard. You guys are adding a little bit of water, right? Maybe a little acid there. You've got to break those first few ingredients into tiny little droplets first. You got to break them down to small little particles by whisking, and you have to be vigorously, with the whisking. And then, of course, the addition of the oil has to be slowly at the beginning, because the idea is to start breaking those droplets of oil slowly into tiny little particles, right? So now imagine you guys have tiny little particles of liquid, tiny little particles of fat, and now the emulsifier comes in and then just grabs them together. I actually have a video, Chef. Do you mind if I show a quick video? So I have this video that, kind of explains emulsification. So I'm going to go ahead and share that with you guys.
If you were to put some oil and water into a jar and shook them up, the oil and water would mix together and form a cloudy-looking liquid. But if you were to leave the jar to stand for a few minutes, the oil and water would begin to separate. The oil will rise to the top and form a distinct layer on top of the water. Oil and water do not mix together permanently. But sometimes in cooking we do want oil and water to mix. And we can do that by adding an emulsifier. An emulsifier encourages the oil and water to mix. This is what is done in sauce recipes such as hollandaise sauce and mayonnaise. The emulsifier that's used in these recipes is called lecithin, which is found in egg yolk. This is how an emulsifier works. Emulsifiers are molecules with 2 ends. One end is attracted to water. It's hydrophilic, it loves water, whereas the other end is attracted to the oil. This end is hydrophobic, it really doesn't like water. When an emulsifier is added to a mixture of oil and water, its molecules arrange themselves so that they prevent the oil and water from separating, like this. The mixture has now become an emulsion. Emulsions are either oil in water or water in oil, depending on how much oil and how much water is present. Milk, single and double cream, hollandaise sauce and mayonnaise are all examples of oil in water emulsions. Butter, vegetable fat spread and vinaigrette salad dressing are all examples of water in oil emulsions.
That's a great video.
Yeah, so it really explains, you know, emulsification. And of course, we have two kinds of emulsification. We have the temporary emulsion, which is your vinaigrette that's going to eventually, with time, start separating. I'm sure you guys, when you buy your little vinaigrette bottles at the market, you notice that they're completely separated. And it tells you right there, shake before using, right? That way you can emulsify it again. But mayonnaise is one of those that it's a permanent emulsion because it will not separate ever. The only way to separate mayonnaise is by heat, because anything that is an emulsion will be separated by heat. You know, it's going to break. So I think that's one of the main things you guys need to understand in order to be very successful with the mayonnaise. And there was one question earlier that says, what about if my mayonnaise doesn't get as, you know, thick enough? The way to get it thick, it's really, you guys, by elbow grease. You gotta be whisking, whisking, whisking. The whisking fast enough, it's going to help aerate the product, right? You're adding air as well, and you have to be, it will help you with the thickening as well. If it gets too thick, then add just a little tiny water, just a little couple drops of water, and it's going to give you a much whiter color, because some people, I always have students that says, Chef, it's too yellow and thick. Well, just a little tiny water is going to loosen it up, and it's going to bring the white of the mayo that we know of. You know, but you will not get, you know, enough thickening if you're not whisking fast enough. And of course, if anybody has had like a wrist, you know, injury or anything like that, you can always email us and let us know. And then we can kind of go from there to give you an alternative to how to take care of the whisking for this assignment. That's it, Chef.
Absolutely great advice. That was very well said. It's really interesting. The whisking motion is fantastic for incorporating air, oxygen into the product, which helps create that nice white appearance of the store-bought mayonnaise. However, when you try real homemade mayonnaise, it's kind of hard to turn back. It's kind of hard to go back and try the store-bought stuff. Number one, it is natural. Number two, just as a side note, there is no direct relation between cardiovascular disease and egg yolks. Egg yolks have 189 milligrams of cholesterol. However, it is in what we call an LDL, or a low-density lipoprotein, and that does not carry the cholesterol and clog up the arteries. So eating egg yolks is not bad for you. I'm not telling you eat a dozen egg yolks for breakfast tomorrow. That might not be so good. Let's see, Benjamin, what was your question?
Yeah, I have a couple.
Sure, go ahead.
One, I don't have a aluminum mixing bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I don't have that and I use a hard plastic mixing bowl, is that going to change like the color of it or anything like that?
No, that's not gonna affect the final product. If anybody else out there does not have a stainless steel bowl like we use in industry, it's fine to use glass or another plastic container. You want to make sure it is a smooth bowl-like shape, which is the important thing, so you can stir and create a consistent product. However, once you get into industry, you're not going to be using any type of glass bowls because they do break and shatter. And the plastic bowls can be bad as well. What's your other question there, Benjamin?
And then she said something about, Carla said something about with a wrist injury or something like that. Could we use one of those, is it not a blender, but has the two things on it and you use it as a whisk?
Egg beater.
Yeah.
Benjamin, do me a favor. If that is an issue, like Chef Carla mentioned, please reach out to your chef instructor, and we'll work with you on a personal basis to help resolve that. But we do urge everyone out there to please make it by hand. We're trying to get you to learn the technique, especially the information that Chef Carla just spoke about, the technique with whisking vigorously, adding the oil very, very slowly in droplets to disperse that oil to work with the emulsification process. So that is our intention. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions there, Benjamin?
No.
No? All right, Brenda, what's going on?
Hey, Chef.
Hey.
I have a question. I'm kind of worried about something. My air don't work very well here at the house, and I'm a little concerned about making the mayonnaise and it be contaminated because it got too hot.
It's probably not going to happen. You need to make sure that you are working within that temperature danger zone, that 4-hour time period. I would imagine the mayonnaise is probably going to take you no more than 30 minutes to make from start to finish. And hopefully, as long as you're not in Death Valley somewhere, you know, it should be pretty good. And mayonnaise also has what we call a very low water activity. Water activity is the amount of water that is held within a product. And when products are very high moisture, we refer to them as being TTCS, or time temperature control for safety. Some of those products would include certain types of salads, a lot of dairy products, milk, cheeses, et cetera, where that bacteria can be spread throughout the food. Fortunately, with the oil, that kind of retards that process when it comes to mayonnaise. So it's not as susceptible, but you still need to treat it in a very sanitary fashion and make sure that the product is not sitting out at room temperature for an extended period of time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, ladies and gents, Chef Carla also touched on a very important piece of information. The vinaigrette is traditionally what we refer to as being a temporary emulsion, right? So if you slowly whisk that vinegar into the oil or the oil into the vinegar vigorously, it will emulsify temporarily, but after a few minutes, it's going to separate. And when we want it to be a more permanent type of an emulsion, we'll use an emulsifier. I always refer to an emulsifier as the marriage counselor, right? Because the marriage counselor brings them together, keeps them together. But under certain circumstances, because those emulsified products such as hollandaise or mayonnaise are very susceptible to heat, which can break the product. Let's take a look at vinaigrettes here real quick. This week's recipe for vinaigrettes, we have white vinegar, salt, white pepper, and salad oil. Now, Chef Carla and I spoke about this yesterday. These are the ingredients that we prefer that you use. It is vital that you use vinegar and oil to demonstrate the technique. If you have to substitute a different type of vinegar because that's all you have, then that's fine. That's not a problem. Make sure you let Chef Rich know when you submit your assignment. And then also with the salad oil. Traditionally in industry, we're probably going to use a lot of salad oil to make vinaigrettes versus olive oil. Olive oil for us in industry can be very, very expensive, and we like to use it where we can identify the flavor. So for example, if we're paying $28 for a gallon of extra virgin olive oil, because of its flavor profile, whatever we serve, we want to make sure that we can identify that flavor profile, or our customers can. Also in the vinaigrette this week, we have salt and white pepper. In the commercial kitchen, we primarily use only kosher salt. Table salt is small balls. It doesn't stick to food. It also has iodine in it. So please make sure that you only stick to kosher salt if at all possible. You're going to mix your vinegar, salt, and white pepper until the salt is dissolved. That's step one. Step two, begin whisking vigorously. Just like Chef Carla was talking about, and while whipping, you're gonna add a couple of drops of oil at a time, droplets. Remember, patience is critical when it comes to making emulsions. And then after the first couple of droplets, you can slowly increase that flow of oil until you incorporate all of it. And at that point in time, you're gonna wanna stop and taste. So that is how we're going to make the vinaigrette for this week. Chef Rich, what's your favorite vinaigrette?
My favorite vinaigrette would be a vanilla bean vinaigrette that we used to make, and it was pretty much the same recipe, except we would use rice wine vinegar, and put a vanilla bean in it, and it came out really awesome all the time. So.
Oh, that sounds delicious. That sounds really good. You know, these vinaigrettes are extremely versatile, like I was saying at the beginning of the class. I did a demonstration on Saturday night on different vinaigrettes, and I did organic plums, ginger, fresh lime, olive oil, and a little bit of sherry wine vinegar, and we made a vinaigrette out of that for the class. And it's just the same technique that we're talking about right now with additional ingredients. Chef Carla, what's your favorite vinaigrette?
Oh, I love the lemon vinaigrette, Chef. That's my ultimate flavor. I mean, favorite one. I mean, I have lemons all over, you know, in the house all the time. So it's so easy to just do it. The citrus taste is what I love. So whenever I have, let's say, blood oranges, you know, I can do a vinaigrette out of that. It's just the citrus taste that I love.
My favorite, without doubt, is fresh lemon juice, olive oil, cracked black pepper, and salt. That is the #1 vinaigrette. It's so clean and crisp, and the flavors identified. We like to use lemons quite a bit in our cooking. Lemons have acid, which help cover one of our 5 palate flavors, but lemons are also high in what we call monosodium glutamate. It's a naturally occurring substance, MSG, that opens up the flavors on your palate, so it intensifies the flavor of food. Some of the other foods that are common with monosodium glutamate include tomatoes, Parmesan cheese, and mushrooms that we like to add to food because those are also flavor enhancers naturally. Ladies and gents, Chef Carla and I were talking a little bit earlier about some different ingredients and presentations. Now is the time to start developing that. As a young culinarian, and I'm sure Chef Rich and Chef Carla could probably piggyback on this as well, but as a young culinarian, we have a tendency to kind of over-decorate or over-garnish our foods. The whole process is to enhance the appearance of what is on the plate. So we want to make sure that we're sticking with the 3 elements, the height, the color, and the texture. Do not overdo it, otherwise you will lose sight of what you are trying to serve, which is very, very important. So our salad this week, we're working on a chef's salad. If you run into a circumstance where you cannot find turkey, for example, which is on this week's recipe, it is fine if you use chicken breast. We are asking to display the technique and the appearance of the salad. If there's a particular lettuce that you're having a difficulty finding, it's fine. Just make sure that you use lettuce. So we can understand that you've learned the technique. If you have challenges finding anything, reach out to Chef Carla or myself or Chef Rich, and we're going to guide you in the right direction. We have lots of substitutions and ideas. Isn't that right, Chef Carla? Yeah, one of my things, and I know Chef and I talked early this week, like you mentioned, one of the things that I like to do, you guys, is I like to focus on a technique. Right, we're going to be working just based on techniques for this entire class. And so if, let's say, for example, you know, you don't have carrots, for example, if the recipe calls for carrots, I don't think it does, but you have mushrooms in the house, obviously that's something that you could put on your salad, you know. What I don't want is for students to say, I didn't have this ingredient and that ingredient, so I didn't get to do my assignment, you know, because you can pretty much work with sometimes what you have in the house. But we want to try to stay as close as we can to the recipe. Any substitutions, go ahead and send us an email. And then, of course, we can approve that. When it comes to culinary, of course, substituting is very simple, right? You guys can kind of, you know, fix and make changes as you go. But one of the things that you guys are going to learn is that when we get to the baking portion of the class, baking is a science. All those ingredients are working together. So the moment that you decide to take this ingredient and substitute it for something else, then that's where things kind of get thrown off. So we're going to be maybe just a little flexible with you guys when it comes to substituting for the first 5 weeks. But once we hit baking, it's going to be a little bit more strict. Because again, if you decide to tell me, Chef, you know, I'm gluten-free or I am diabetic and I need to, you know, remove the sugars completely, it's not going to work. You know, we don't have any other substitution when it comes to different recipes.
So we have to be very strict with and following those the technique and also the ingredients and the amounts that we have. So of course we'll hit that when we get to I believe it's week 5 already, because that's when we started working with pancakes, which is sort of like the beginning of baking. So we'll get there. But I really don't mind right now. You know, it's fine. Let us know what you're going to be substituting. That way we can walk you through the process. One of the things that I don't want is for us to give you a feedback that something went off, you know, because you had the wrong ingredients, you know, and instead of like helping you with the actual technique, we're now correcting the ingredients that you use. So we want to make sure we give you the right feedback, especially Chef Rich is going to be doing that. Thank you, Chef.
Absolutely great advice. You have to remember that once you're in industry, it is not acceptable to stand there in front of a customer and say, we don't have it. You always find a way to make it happen. And that is a big key to success. This recipe for the chef salad, we're not going to go through it item by item, but the key to success for completing this salad this week is mise en place. Make sure that your mise en place is extremely organized. We spoke at the beginning of this class regarding the knife cuts that you learned at the beginning in your last course. This is the time to display it. Chef Rich will be taking a very close look at your knife cuts to ensure that they are consistent. Our next recipe, ladies and gents, is mayonnaise this week. Your mise en place, your egg yolks, vinegar, water, salt, and dry mustard. Cayenne, salt, vinegar, and lemon juice. It's really important to focus on learning the technique this week. Your egg yolks, and you're going to put them into a bowl. You're going to whisk them very, very well. Then you're going to add your dry ingredients, and then your vinegar, and then you're going to make it nice and smooth, just like we saw in the video. Make sure it's all dissolved. It's all the same color before you start the emulsion. You're going to whisk vigorously whisk and add droplets of oil, because you want to disperse that oil, let it bind with the cholesterol and the lecithin that is found in the egg yolk, and that will create your emulsion. After you've added a couple of tablespoons of oil, you can increase the flow rate slightly. That does not mean dump a gallon of oil into your egg yolks. It ain't gonna work. So you're gonna slowly incorporate. When the mayonnaise becomes thick, you can add the remainder of your vinegar, and then you can adjust the tartness with the lemon juice, and that will take you home. This is a critical technique to learn. It is something you will be doing in industry on a frequent basis, and it is a very valuable skill. Once you learn the technique, I guarantee you, number one, you're really going to enjoy the flavor of homemade mayonnaise. And then number two, once you're in industry, you can take this and make it in any direction that you want. You can get rid of the lemon and you can add lime. You can add chipotle to it. You can add roasted garlic to it. You can add epazote to it. You can add all sorts of different ingredients to it. And that is the difference between a cook and a chef. So that is a very valuable skill to learn. Does anybody have any questions about mayonnaise? Chef Rich, Chef Carla, do you have any more comments regarding mayonnaise?
Well, with mayonnaise, one of the things that I like to do is I like to get those first few ingredients. Let me take a look at the recipe really quickly so I can tell you exactly. I like to put the yolks, the vinegar, the water, and a little, the mustard for sure, and the salt. And I'd like to start whisking that. I know somebody had mentioned earlier, do we need to take it to like what's called the ribbon stage? Ribbon stage just means that you have whisked it long enough that it starts to look a little bit on the thick side, you know, kind of like nappe consistency. Well, I'll tell you, that helps, but it takes a while to get there. You have to whisk really fast, and for, you know, maybe for about two minutes or so, let's say, if you're whisking really fast. I usually don't like to tell you how long to do certain things because it's more by visual, you know, so what you're looking for is the texture. So I do like to take it until it starts to look very foamy, just a slight thickness, because I know that, at least for me, the way it works, the times that I've done it, when I take it that far by whisking, that's without the oil, you guys. This is just first few ingredients. It tends to not break on me. So the moment I start adding the oil slowly, again, I start adding just a few drops at a time, and I start whisking, right? I notice that it starts to emulsify fairly faster, you know, if I do that process by whisking the first few ingredients first until they're a little bit on the thick side, and then the oil comes in next. The moment that you guys notice that it starts to thicken up, that it starts to look like mayonnaise, at that point, just feel safe that it's not going to break on you. So you guys can start adding more oil, but keep whisking, right? I just keep pouring and whisking. When I worked at the culinary school at the ground campus, it was always fun. I would grab the students, the squeeze bottles, and they were so scared. And by the way, you guys, you might be a little sore after doing it, but they were really scared to do the technique. And I would say, just whisk and just keep pouring. The moment that you have emulsification, like Chef said, you're pretty much home. You're safe at that point.
Absolutely. Wonderful advice. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. Chef Carla mentioned something that is really critical too. After you increase your flow rate, make sure you stop, continue to whisk, make sure that oil incorporates. You don't want to wait till there's an inch of oil on top of your existing mayonnaise to try to incorporate that. So you're going to squeeze some oil in there, or let the oil flow in there, whisk vigorously, create that emulsion, stop, whisk, make sure it looks good, and then add some additional oil. Speaking of squeeze bottles, Chef Carla, once you get into industry, squeeze bottles are everywhere. We use them for a multitude of different things, everything from condiments on tables to salad dressings in the pantry or garde-manger area that a lot of us, or a lot of you will end up working in. This is a cold prep table or a pizza prep table. This is where we keep a lot of our mise en place. We'll get into pans later in this course, but you'll stick your 6th, 9th, full, half, or third pans in these, and these will keep your products refrigerated in order to prepare your salads very quickly. In the restaurant industry, one of our biggest concerns, ladies and gentlemen, is our mise en place. Chef Rich is going to be taking a look at the way you lay that out. The quicker or the more efficient and the more organized your mise en place is, the quicker you can execute your dish. It's very, very essential. Squeeze bottles, store and pours. We like to keep salad dressings in those, which helps us to execute our dishes much faster. Talked about stainless steel bowls. You saw one of those in the video. We don't use glass in the restaurant industry. It's not safe. And then cruettes. Most likely on the pantry station, you'll be responsible for maintaining cruettes. This is where we keep oil and vinegar. Terry, what's your question?
So are we able to use any oil, olive oil, vegetable oil, canola oil?
We prefer that you stick as close to the recipe as possible. If you don't have vegetable oil, you can certainly go ahead and use that olive oil if you need to. It'll still end up in the same place. What's that?
The recipe says salad oil, so I wasn't sure what is. So vegetable oil is salad oil?
It's basically salad oil. Salad oil is a very loose term. It's traditionally a blend of different oils. It can be a corn oil, it can be a canola oil, it can be a vegetable oil. It's something that traditionally has a very low smoke point on it. So it's a highly unsaturated fat. That's the reason we use it for salads, because we really can't use it to saute, because it begins to break down right around 350 degrees and the chemical composition changes and that oil will become very bitter. So that's why they put the salad oil label on it. If you want to use olive oil, that's perfectly fine. I don't think Chef Carla has an issue with that, and I don't have an issue with that either.
I don't.
No, you're good? Okay. Does that answer your question, Terry? Okay. If you still need to talk a little bit more about it, I'll be glad to talk to you a little bit more about it and make sure you understand, okay?
Yeah.
That sound good? All right. Does anybody else have any other questions? Ladies and gents, this will be on your class page a little bit later for you to take a look at, but these are some examples of some presentations that we would see in industry, just to give you some ideas to help develop your own style. Let's take a look at our weekly assignment here real quick. Temporary emulsion, which is going to be your vinaigrette. Self-identification photos. Please make sure that you are holding up the identification for which week it is. Make sure that you look professional in your uniform. Chef Rich is going to be making sure that we have things like shoes and headgear and hats and all that kind of good stuff. Now is the time to start, not when you get into industry. Make sure you have a very professional appearance. And your sanitation station is extremely critical. It is something that the local authorities have a tendency to check on frequently once you are in industry. So now is the time to develop that habit. Your emulsion, you're gonna have your acid in the bowl with the seasoning, and then you're gonna take a pitcher with 1/3 of the oil, then 2/3 of the oil, and then a pitcher of your vinaigrette, and then your choice of salad greens, lightly coated. In industry, our average for a dinner salad would be about 0.75 ounces of salad dressing. So we want to make sure that we do not flood our salads. We don't want to see anything swimming across the camera. Chef Carla.
Jeff, I'm going to have to jump into the next live session. But I'll see you guys next week.
Bye. Bye. Thank you. Thank you. So ladies and gents, make sure that you lightly coat those greens. We don't want to be serving any straws with our salads this week. Your composed salad. Make sure your mise en place is lined up really nice and neat. Chef Rich is really going to be checking that out. Close-up vegetable knife skills. Chef Rich will be checking. If you're doing a small dice, make sure it's a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch. If you're doing a julienne, make sure it's 1/8 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch by 2 to 3 inches. It's very, very important. And then we want to see your plated salad. We just gave you some examples on the previous slides as to what we expect to see. Your mayonnaise. You're gonna, once again, you're going to show a picture of your mise en place, very, very important. And then a picture after adding 1/3 of the fat, 2/3 of the fat, and then your final product. Terry, did you have another question?
Nope.
No, you good? Okay. How about John? What's up?
Hi, Chef.
Hi, John.
In the last block when we did our assignments,
correct.
If we did each step on the same day, each component on the same day, we were allowed to use the same photo of the date and sanitation bucket. Is that allowed this time too?
That is fine. That's not a problem.
Thank you.
Just make sure we're not using the same picture of sanitation throughout the next 11 weeks. That could be a bad thing. So we just want to make sure it is fresh. If you're doing all three things on the same day, then go for it. There's not a problem with that. Ladies and gents, just a couple of reminders before we finish up. Check your email messages on a daily basis. It's very, very important. Other info and tips will be shared, so make sure you keep your eye out to see what's going on. Always reach out to ask questions, and by all means, please be proactive as far as submitting your assignments. It is a sign of professionalism, getting things done in a timely fashion and showing and demonstrating how to manage your time. It's very, very important. Our goal is to help you succeed in industry, and this is what it takes to succeed. Any questions, anybody? Judy, what's going on?
Yes, Chef. I just wanted to make sure I was understanding this right. Now, when we mix the egg with the oil, we're taking cold and warm and mixing them together.
No. Same temperature.
Okay, so how long do we need to?
The room temperature is what you want, about the same temperature. If the eggs are 78 degrees and the oil's 84, that's fine. Just in the same neighborhood.
Okay, so let the eggs warm up a little bit to room temperature.
As you whisk them, that's going to create friction in your bowl. That's going to naturally warm. And then you're also incorporating the air from the room into your egg yolks, and that air will help rise up the temperature to room temperature.
Okay, thank you, Chef.
You're welcome. Travis, what's up?
Okay, I have an oil mixture that I use for making vinaigrette. I use 1 part EVO and 2 parts vegetable oil. Is that okay?
That's perfectly fine. Not a problem. That's actually very common in the restaurant industry. It's more of a 70-30 blend that we utilize. It's more of a commercial common blend, but that's perfectly fine. No issue.
Because red wine vinaigrette is my favorite, and that's the way I've made it since my grandmother taught me how to make it.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Chef Rich, do you have any closing words?
Nothing really I can think of. Everything got covered really well. Just I guess just stressing the point, when you get to mayonnaise, it can be a little bit frustrating, but it's all about the technique. So really just, when you start it, it's so important at the beginning to just add a tiny bit of oil and then just something that we you can break it in the beginning, but also be careful. You can get too thick and break it on the other end too. So, when you start getting it really, really thick, you have to add a little bit of liquid to it. But that's all I got about that. So
awesome. Well, thank you very much, Chef Rich. Ladies and gents, on the class page, you're going to notice some big red letters. We would love to see everybody's assignment be submitted no later than this Sunday, just to get everybody in the habit of running way ahead. We want to see your assignment on Sunday. This way you could resubmit on Monday and Tuesday if you need to. We want to see everybody walk out of this class with a 100. That's our goal. And I have a great feeling that this block can do it. Chef Carla and I also mentioned at the beginning of this class, if anyone needs any help, Chef Rich, Chef Carla, and myself are here to support you. And then we also heard from Sydney at the beginning of the class, who would be glad to tutor you if you need any additional information. I hope everybody has a fantastic week, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Take care, everybody. Have a great